Hello everybody. Today in my screencast I'm going to make one task for new game which we are developing. You can see prototype. This is classic Lines games with some additional idle mechanic. And now you can see that field and chips on the field are implemented, and I need to add some new features there. And one feature on which I'm going to work it's pathfinding. The main lines rule is following: when we select any chip, this for instance, and when we want to move this chip anywhere to the empty cell, this for instance, so there should be a path by which chip can go to the selected cell. For instance, if I select this chip and select this empty cell, it must not to go to this cell because there is not exist path to this cell. But now you can see I can move cell to this empty cell. So I have to add new feature. When I select chip and select cell, logic should find path if it exists and show animation how chip move by this path. And if there is no any path, I should make player know about this with some effect, sound effect or visual effect. So let's start to work on this feature. Okay, first what I need is some pathfinding system. So I'm going to add new class and name it pathfinding system. What should it do? It should take two parameters, start cell and finish cell, two selected cells in the field. First one is cell which contains chip, and finish cell, empty cell, which we want to find path. And it should return, what should it return? Let's think. It should return path, but which data should we have? Probably this will be list of cells in order, in path order. So first cell will be start cell, and last cell will be finish cell. Okay, so there should be some method. I put return parameter void. It's temporary. I will fix it later. Find path, or just find, because this pathfinding system, it's obvious that it's trying to find path. Find cell, board cell, start cell and board cell finish cell. Next, what should be next? So we have some checked condition, for instance, start cell is not empty. And finish cell is empty. I will delete this later, but let's write some rules there. What I need there more? I need val field. So probably I need board structure. Board contains cells with coordinates and list of the same cells, so I can use this data to find path. So how I'm going to find path? I'm going to use classic wave algorithm. It's a simple one. When we start wave from start cell, let's try to explain it. How wave algorithm works. Let's spawn some chips. So for instance, when I want to move this cell to this, I can spawn wave. So how it works? I put there number 1. So into this array, I put there 1. On the next step, to each cell which is adjacent to the latest one, I put 2. So this cell take 2, 2, 2. Next step will be that this cell will be 3, 3, 3. Then 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 8, 9, 9. And so there will be wave which go there, 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 and it passed there, and it will find the finish cell. Or when we can't put any new step on this path, it means that the path doesn't exist. So we need some information about current step. We should put to each cell this step information. So when we start, let's make new method and call it wave board. Not any board cell. So at the start cell, int wave step will be 1 at the start, and start cell should take wave step 1. How I'm going to assign step to cells? I can go to board cell and add the new property public wave int wave step. But and I can, at the start of this find method, I can clear all this field wave step for all cells, and I can run wave again. But I don't want to mix data. So I don't want that board cell know anything about pathfinding system. And I think I will add the information about wave state. So I think map will be enough. Can be like this: dictionary board cell int wave step map. It will be empty at the start. It means that there is no any cells with steps. And when I make wave step 1, I can do following. I wave step start cell wave step. Now I'm going to iterate to all cells and try to make next step. And this iteration will continue while we can't do any step. So it should be something like cycle. Let's like this. Or even we can do it like int wave step to no condition there for exit and wave step grace to 1, and there we can just do like this. Now we can try to find all adjacent cells which has wave step current -1. So how we can do this? We can use simple but not so optimal way. We can take board all cells for each board cell collections, and if wave step map contains the cell and wave step map cell, it's not a good solution too, because it check twice, it just contains and check, and but it's, I don't think we should think about performance there. So let's do this not so optimal. I understand about this because for wave we can just have a list of the wave. So let's do this. It's like front. We can use a classic front approach. List board cell front. Front means that this is list of cells from the previous step. So front is list, and it contains start cell in the start. Now what we can do is take all adjacent cells from front. So we can do following. We can instead this iterate from cells. Then we can take all. So we can board get get adjacent cells. It will be list cells. We don't have such method now. I think it's some kind of typo. Okay, thanks. And we can, and each adjacent cell we have to check on two conditions. First, if adjacent cell is empty, one more iteration. So if adjacent cell is empty and adjacent cell doesn't have wave step. So this means as wave step map doesn't contain adjacent cell. In this case, we can continue wave. So there will be so we can wave step map. I'm not sure that I'm doing all right now. Wave step, right, like this. And we have to update next to next front. So next front should be list of these adjacent cells for the current step. So list board cell next front new, and I have to add next front adjacent cell. So, and when we iterate to our current front, we have to front next front like this. Can we extract this to separated method? Let's try. So there will be method which takes front wave step and return next front and do this operation. Let's try. So it will return next front. It will call I'll call it like do front step list. So it takes board list front and int wave step current wave step. So all this copy there and return next front. And I need wave step maps there too. Okay. Too much parameters. Okay, let's do like this. And I have to implement this method, get edges and cells from the board. Let's do this. So it takes single cell and return adjacent cell. Adjacent cell, it's cells, list of cells which near by horizontal or vertical, and it's easy to take. Cell has x and y properties, so I can manually add this. I can create list and I return this list at the end of method, and there I can just manually add 4 adjacent cells. So this is cell from left of the current cell, from right, this is from below or above, I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter because it's symmetric, something like this. But there is one issue, because at the border of board, cell can have lower than 4 cells, adjacent cells. In the corner it has 2 adjacent cells, the border it have 3, and in the middle any cell has 4 adjacent cells. So I have to check these coordinates of bounds. I have this method, it's out of bounds. I can use it, something like following hard-code. If it's not out of bounds, copy. Should I do this like this? Hard-code. I can create the x, the y array and iterate to it, and there will be single condition. So if I write this like this, it's easy to do. It's quickly and easy. I can do this in 30 seconds. But it's not good because this is duplication of code. These 2 lines and these 2 lines make the same. But if I make it better, probably it will take more code and more work. How should I do that? Remove duplication, but make my code. So how it can work? But I can create list of tuple with two parameters. Will be this directions, and I can initialize it. It will be the same: x minus 1, x plus 1, y minus 1, and y plus 1. So it will be 4 directions: x minus 1, x plus 1, 0, 0, y minus 1, and y plus 1. Why it doesn't like it? It's interesting. I can do like this. It's okay. This tuples is new feature in C# and I don't have enough experience with syntax. So it should ask me why I don't use object initializer. Yes? Are you going to ask me about this? Yes, use collection. Let's check how it refactored. Okay, what I did wrong? So I created new. Oh, okay. I cannot make it like int, and that is all okay. And there was not open and close brackets. Okay, I see. So we have created 4 directions. Oh, but now we can iterate through this direction. Like this. And inside this cycle will be just single condition. Let's check. I don't think it became. I think we get more code, but this is no duplication now. So we describe 4 directions. We iterate to each director: left, right, up, down. We check if cells in any of this direction is not out of bounds, and if it's not out of bounds, we add this cell to adjacent cell. Okay. As usual, when you make things properly, you get better code. Okay, get adjacent cells. Now works. Let's check this. method. So we get wave step nav, board, front, and wave step. We create next front list. We iterate to each front cell, and for each front cell we get adjacent cells and check, and go to each adjacent cell and check that this adjacent cell is empty and wave step map doesn't contain the adjacent cell. This means that we have not been in this cell before. And in this case we add this adjacent cell to wave step map and wave step, right? We need wave step there for future. We don't use to find path. We don't need wave step number. We can just mark cells that we was there only, and this will be enough. But to make a concrete path later, we need this number. We will use it later. So, and we add next front, and return next front. So there we call to front step board wave step map front and wave step, and we assign next front to front. So it will be like this. And when we should stop, this cycle has infinite number of steps. When we can make any new step in the front, so when front count for 0, we break from cycle. So we go there, pass front there, iterate to all adjacent cell, and don't add any cells to next front. This means that we can't make any step for it. For instance, for first start cell, if this start cell doesn't have any adjacent empty cells, so we put start cell to front, and let's try this. We put start cell to front, and next front will be empty. Okay. We break from cycle, but what means this? Have we find the path? Yeah, and we can stop. We should have another condition to stop. Another condition to stop when front cell, front list contains finish cell. It means that we achieve finished cell. Board cell, finish cell. We can take this front iterate through it and check. So if front contains finish cell, break 2. But this is different break. This means that there is not any path. This means that we have path. We have found it. And somehow we have stored this information about path, and that we have path, or the path doesn't exit. Run wave. Let me think how to organize this information. I need information. Do we have path or not? And fill it wave information for backtracking, because we have to build path after that. Fill it wave information stored there. But do we have path or not? Information doesn't store anywhere. Probably we need some structure for that. I'm not sure yet. This method is clear to me. This is not. I can return true false there, but I have to return this information too. But if I return just this information, it will not. Oh, I see. At first, we don't need to use this contains method. It's a long method because it should, if we will not have big uh, fields, because it's the largest ones 11 width and 11 height. It's not a big amount of cells, but in general contains this long method because it's iterate to all. So every time we should iterate to all cells to check each cells. But we can check this wave step because this different step add there too. So I can just check if wave step map contains k. It means that we achieve finish cell. This means that we doesn't have path. If I return the true and I return the false, I'll not return wave step map. I can use tuple there too. So I can use following. Bool have path and dictionary bird cell and map. Why don't you like this? Okay, so okay, just I have not updated return there. Okay, you're satisfied now. So now let's do return. This means that we don't have path, so false and wave step map. And there we can return true and wave step map. I really like this tuple features in the latest version of C# language, but I have not have big amount of experience, so I'm usually don't think about it. So I have spent some time to achieve this result. And as we don't have any exit parameter there, we don't need to write anything there. So this part of method will not be achieved. And compiler know about this. What next? If we have path, we have to create. Now we just have wave information. Wave from, let me try to show. We have information about wave. So if we select this and as finish cell, we select this cell, it will build wave from this cell. And when wave achieve this cell, it say, okay, I have achieved it. But we don't have the final path because we can have many different paths to the cell. We can go like this, go like this. Oh, we can go like this, or like ladder, or like straight line. Even if we are going to find the nearest path there. So such path like this we will not use, and we can find it by this algorithm. But minimum steps path, we have several such paths, and we should decide which path would we like to get in final. So, for instance, this one, this minimal turns, or this one, this maximum turns. Which one is better? Or I can select random. So when I go here, there, I can go there, and I use random and select next randomly. Then I select this, I can go there, and I select randomly this, and so on. And how can I do this? I should go to finish cell and select next previous, all cells which next previous. Step way randomly. Okay, let's create the final path like this. It will be like wait list board cell, final path from start cell to finish cell, including both of the cells, build path. And I need the, probably I need just map. So dictionary board cell and map. And I probably need this wave step. No, I don't need wave step because I can get it. So if I have board cell, finish cell, and start cell, I need the, I can hardcore 1 as first wave step, or I can use start cell to detect when I achieve start cell. Let's use start cell. Good. What now? So first I going to take wave step from the finish cell. like this. And let's create path list and return it. So now I can path at this wave step. Sorry, finish cell. And now next step I should iterate through map to find all possible backtracking steps with wave step -1. So I can do following wave step, and now I for each board cell in map case if board cell map board cell equal wave step. This is one of candidate which I should randomly select. So I have to add it to some kind of list board cell candidate. So when I get this candidate with current wave step, I should select one of it. It have to be at least one. The structure should provide at least one. If we fill this wave correctly, this will work always. And we will test this at some time. So now we can use random util and take next item from candidates, of course, and it will be next cell, and I can add path to pass it like this, and I should iterate this again and again while next cell will be start cell. So I can do this like infinite cycle again, and I can add this there conditional if next cell is start cell, then break. And also there I have to clear candidates. I move this outside of for cycle to not allocate memory, so just to use this list. Okay, let's check how we can improve this logic. It looks like correct. Let's check it. Probably I can generalize something. So clear candidates, select. Okay, I have not decreased wave step. It should be decreased. I can do this there. Okay, first one. So I take wave step from finish cell, and then on each step I decrease it. And when we exit there, this should be equal 1. And I can check by 1, 2, but the same check, I think. So I take candidates, add them all to list. Oh no, it will not work because I have to take only adjacent to previous cell, not all which equal to wave step, but only adjacent. Interesting. How can I do this? So I should store current. I should store current, the latest cell, current cell. Let's make some finish cell. You can take something like this, and it's not enough. There should be if wave step equals this, and last cell is adjacent to board cell. We need to implement this method. Like this. How to, when it, the adjacent, when sum of Manhattan coordinates, Manhattan distance equal to 1, I think. It means that how can we math bs x minus the x plus math it can be f2 math bs y minus the I y, and this should be equal to 1. So Manhattan distance equal to 1 only for adjacent cells. It looks correct. So when this is too big, when it's 0, 0, 0, when, yeah, it's look correct. And when we have both conditions, wave step and adjacent, we add it to candidate, select random. It looks like correct, but test will show build path. So list board cell path build path map start cell finish cell. Yeah, sure. Okay. Can I don't use res there? Oh, great. I like. this. So, but this can be only when we have path. If we have path, else I don't know what to do. Let's throw exception. Okay, how are we going to test this now? When I select who will use this method? I have board input system, just select chip board system, probably new cell for chip selected. So I move chip from current cell to new cell, and I just teleported now. So I should call this method which we have written. Let's inject pathfinding system, and let's create it. Okay, we added it to injector. Now we have access to it there. Find board, start cell, and finish cell. Do we have access to board? Yes, we have data, board, chip cell, it's start cell, and cell. It's finish cell, and we should get the path. List cell path, like this. Let's return the path. Return path. And there, when we don't have path, I just throw exception, and I will implement this later. I want to test. So, what I'm going. So I just remember that I forgot to do something in build path. We want to take path from start cell to finish cell, but there we do this backtracking, and we add finish cells and previous one, and the latest cell is start cell. It's in inverse order there. We have, yeah, we have let's reverse order and return. Okay, I have this information. What to do next? At first, I can just write log with steps amount, and let's check that all okay, no any index out of range exceptions, and so on. So when I select this and go there, it should be two paths with two cells, this one and this one. Yes. Then when I select this and go to there, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Let's create something more complicated. So when I select this and then this, it should go like that. How much? 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I think I was there, not there. Okay, let's raise exception. Yeah, it doesn't find the path. It looks like correct, but I'm not sure. Now I want to visualize this. And I think at first I just put the paw prints. We have following design, and we are going to show this movement, this animation, like jumping there, and when we select and jump, it should show all animation. But now I'm not going to implement it. I want to show the steps. I just visualize path. Let's try to do this. How can we? So we are not going to use, we just teleport cell, but we show past path. So I'm not going to use it there, but I will have some render system. I have board render system, I can use it. So I can draw power prints there. I have board render data. So board render system, when should it show power prints? Let me think. I have chip cell changed, but this will be changed later because it will not change instantly. It will change with animation. I can now. So I have to have some method which update power prints. It should clear the latest one and create new one. For instance, some draw power prints. And there will be, oh, I think my English so bad, so it doesn't power prints. Okay, if you are a native English speaker, you always use dictionary because make naming in method. Oh, all is okay. Why you don't like it? Do you want that I use like following? Let's write in Russian. Power prints. Okay, this is not the single word, it's two words, right? If I write like this, power prints image. I don't know. Okay, let it be like this. Draw power prints, and it will be list bar cell path. So I should draw power prints on each cell except the latest one, because on the latest one cell will be just moved chip. Okay, I can clear current power prints and add new, and I have to store somewhere information about them. I think it will be in the board under data, and I have to create sprite for power prints. Do I have any images for it now? Let's check. Okay, let's look that I don't have anyone. Let's export it from there. Let's use this one and export. I would like that power prints be that power print has white border. Like this, and I can use shader to change this white border. Okay, let's create sprite prefab for power prints. Board 2 probably, I'm not sure. I'll check this later. And put this to prefabs. Yeah, and I have to copy color. Okay, let's create prefab. Great, we have prefab now. I want to make it pixel per unit 1, and we can delete this. Okay, have board render data, and I will add the fabric sprite render power print prefab. This is prefab which I'm going to instantiate to show PowerPrints. So there, in general, in first approach, I should iterate board cell path, and for each cell create I have PowerPrints prefab, but I can object instantiate and cell. I can get cell visual map cell, and this return me board cell visual. This is cell. Board cell is just logical structure which is not linked to Unity objects or Unity renderer, but this return game object with sprite renderer on it, which link it to the cell. Board cell visual. And I can use cell visual as parent. I can take transform, and it's set as parent transform for PowerPrints for this created object. PowerPrints. Right. Okay, PowerPrints. So what should I do with this now? And that's okay, it should work. If I leave like this, I'll spam wall field with this PowerPrints on each move. Let's do this, but let's decide when to call this method. So when I chip cell changed, I don't think that this event makes sense now. It's like we can just change cell of chip without pathfinding and all of this. So we have two usages. It's board center system and board system. It tries this event, and board center system use this event. It should contain more data there. It can contain chip moved. And there will be chip and path. Something like this. More data in this event. Chip moved, and now board system should path the chip and path. Try this, publish this event, and path the data, additional data with path, and the board render system subscribe to this chip moved event. Let's rename handler and chip moved, and there will be additional data. List board cell path, and there I can call Java PowerPrints method. And path, moving path. Let's check. Okay, now it should spam. Okay, we see, because I have not assigned power sprint prefab. Okay, let's do this. And try again. Okay, now it's good. So we can see, but now it will be spammed. Let's check. Go like there, 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 there. Good. I think it's good. But it doesn't clear, so it will be, even when it passes the same cell again, there will be several power prints because they add more and more, and system doesn't clear it. Okay, let's improve this. First, what I can to do is tune. I think power prints should be. It's not important. I think the order, because power prints will not in final. Power prints will not be shown on the not empty cells. So I don't think the sprite order in layer is very important there. We have order in line 2, but cell has 0 and chip 1. I can swap this data. I can chip make order in layer 2 and power prints 1. So there's always draw power prints and then chip. This first improvement. Next one, I'm going to clear. So to clear this, I should store it in bar render data. I'm going to create list power prints. Will be like this. And when I create new power prints and add it to then as a chilled transfer to cell visual, I can store it in data. Power prints like this. And when I draw next power prints, I can clear current, so I can iterate to all power prints. This is sprite render, and destroy this sprite from them in object like this. This is second improvement. It's not final because there will be animation and there will be many additional behaviors, but let's do this step by step. Okay, next one. Okay, so we can see that previous one was cleared. This one. Oh, what's wrong? Oh, okay, sure. Some bug. I destroyed from then all this game object, but it's still stored there. And I continue to add, and when I try to next one do this, first I iterate to power prints from previous step, they still exit there, but not at the same. And it say something missing reference, let's say. Let's try again. Let's just go straight by line. Okay, something. Okay, what we have there more? We have to rotate power prints according to movement direction. So this should be rotated on 19 degrees. This should be rotated below, to the right, below, right. Okay. Let's try the longest path, possible path. Let's make some labyrinths. Yeah, it's good. Okay, it works. Let's improve this. Let's first draw our print's direction. So let's improve this. And we have not, so we have two improvements there. Turn draw for the latest step. And draw according movement direction. Let's implement this behavior there. The latest is the easy one. We should iterate from first to the last -1. How I can do this? Should we rewrite cycle using index? I don't know. Or should I remove last cell from path? But this makes that I mutate this data, and if someone uses events too, it uses the same list. It's not good in general, but if I mutate this data, yeah, I think for cycle is the best one. Pass count -1, like this. Just one additional line of code. So I iterate first to the latest -1, and I assign there cell. I even can do like this. If I use just single times, I don't need to worry about that. It's first one. Should be done. I move this up to test. The next one, draw according movement direction. So I have to rotate sprite render depends of direction. So there can be 4 direction: left, right, and down. First I should detect direction. And I should rotate this direction. So, but I can rotate using transform rotate. It would be like 0, 0, 90. Does it use degrees? Angel. I'm not sure, but we have to have mapping between directions and angles, some kind of mapping. Do I want to create a num for this? I think, will I use direction in another logic? Do I need this enough? Let's create temporarily. Like this. Next to detect direction, I need two cells. The current one and the next one. So you can see how logically this follow. So we don't use the latest path cell, but we will use it in direction detect, and so we don't need any special cases that it will be okay. So we create direction get, and there will be two cells. This cells adjacent. So start cell and not start. Let's do current cell and next cell. And this I should be adjacent. Let's let some accept. True that current cell is. We have written this method before, so we can use it like this. Why don't you like this? It's true. Okay, so if these two cells are adjacent, I can write. How can I map it? There can be four cases. First one, if. Can I do this without for ifs? Not sure, I don't have any ideas right now. So let's just. Usually I just try to write simple solution and then I try to optimize if it's possible. So if next cell x minus current cell x is greater than 0, it's equal 1, then return it's right. Else the same. But minus 1, return left. Okay, you are trying to say me that I don't need else there. Okay. The same for y. If next cell y minus current cell y equal 1, I'm not sure. The lowest y is at the bottom, so this means up. Up. and the same, but -1 mean down. And if these two cells don't pass any of this condition, it means that we put the wrong cell, and I want to know this as soon as possible. So because it means that I have big problem in logic. So I raise exception there. Like this, can't find direction between two cells. Current cell and next cell. Do I have to string? Yes, I have to string. Great. In final code, we'll never go to this part. But I'm not sure that all is correct in my code now. So I can detect direction now. Direction, get direction, current cell, this path I and next cell, this path I +1. And as we have I, the maximum I is path count -1, we don't need any additional. We don't need any additional checks there. All this index will not be out, no bounds. Okay, next one we should get rotation, depends of direction. Get pop wins rotation. And there can be simple switch. Left, right, up, and down. So I'm not sure. So when we have default rotation 0, and it looks like up. So up is 0. So when we put this min left, okay, this min down, and I need right. And this right. So I can get rotation. Done. Let's test now. Is it really done? Okay, I have compile. Sure, yes, because I don't have default. If we have more than one direction, if we have any additional enum there, so I can add the none value. Usually I throw exception and write that this direction is not supported. If you have added new direction value, please support. Please describe the behavior for this direction. Let's check. Okay. It looks correctly. I feel really good that there's no any errors. Of course, it's not all. Oh, what's wrong? What's this? Doesn't look good. So I go there, 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 there. What's this? Interesting. You? What? Oh, yeah, I understand. It's okay. It's because I have not deleted this one. It always was there. Let's test again. Okay. So all this will be animated, of course, and when you make step, so the chip run sequentially, and after he will have power prints, and after that power prints will disappear. Okay, so we have implemented pathfinding, and we have added some visualization of this pathfinding. It's not finished totally, but we have something from which we can start and improve this and make things better and better visually. So I'm going to improve all this logic later. Subscribe to my channel. See you next time.